Good morning, Tech Fam. You're listening to Flat Tech Daily, the podcast that makes your morning smarter in 10 minutes or less. I'm Nick.
And I'm Michelle.
Here are the top 5 tech stories that you don't want to miss.
For our first topic, Chevy's 29K EV is coming.
For our second topic, Sony and AMD tease the PS6 GPU.
For our third topic, Rubik's Cube gets a touchscreen makeover.
For our fourth topic, Apple complies with Texas' new App Store H law.
And for our fifth and final topic, Tesla's FSD facing new investigation.
All right, Michelle, let's fly.
For our first story, just days after Tesla dropped cheaper versions of its cars that weren't really that cheap, Chevy just made a splash with the new 2027 Bolt.
GM says this rebooted Bolt EV will start under $30,000 and it's designed to be the most affordable new EV in America. We're talking $29,990 including destination fees. 255 miles of range, bi-directional charging, and access to Tesla superchargers.
It's also ditching Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is causing some debate, but it will support hands-free driving with GM's Super Cruise, and it's built right here in the US at Kansas factory.
So Michelle, what's the takeaway for our EV curious commuters?
The Bolt is back, baby, and this time it might actually deliver on the promise of a truly affordable electric car.
For our second story, Sony and AMD just gave us a peek under the hood of what's likely the next PlayStation, and it's all about smarter, more efficient graphics tech.
Max Cerny, the lead architect behind the PS5, teamed up with AMD to explain how their next-gen GPUs will use new Radiance cores to supercharge ray tracing and AI upscaling.
They're also introducing something called universal compression, basically letting the GPU do more with less bandwidth, which helps with power efficiency as well.
So Nick, what's the takeaway for our future console collectors?
Sony's not just thinking about more power, they're building the GPU brains of tomorrow, one pixel at a time.
For our third topic, one of the most iconic toys of all time just got a digital glow-up. Meet the WOWCube.
It's a 2x2 cube with 24 mini screens. You can twist, shake, or tilt it to play games like Cut the Rope or check widgets like Stop Prices. What? Think Game Boy meets Fidget Cube.
Spin Master, the toy giant behind Rubik's brand, teamed up with startup called Cubios to make it real. It's now available for pre-order at $299.
So Michelle, what's the takeaway for our retro toy fans?
The Rubik's Cube didn't just get smarter, it leveled up into a full-blown gaming device.
For our fourth story, starting in 2026, Texas will require Apple and Google to verify users' ages in the App Store. Today, Apple just shared how it's going to comply.
New Apple accounts will ask users to confirm if they're 18 or older. Kids under 18, they'll need to join family sharing and get parent approval to download apps or make purchases.
Developers will also make changes. Apple is updating its age verification API so apps can stay compliant.
So Nick, what's the takeaway for App Store parents?
Apple's walking a fine line between protecting kids and preserving user privacy, and Texas is forcing their hand.
And for our fifth and final story, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration just opened a probe into Tesla's full self-driving feature again.
The investigation is looking at over 2.8 million vehicles after reports of Tesla running red lights, turning the wrong way, or even failing to stop at railroad crossings.
This comes while Tesla is pushing regulators to approve its driverless ride-hailing service. And right now, it's not the best timing.
So Michelle, what's the takeaway for our robo-taxi riders?
Self-driving dreams are great, but FSD still has to prove it can handle the real world first. All right, Nick, let's wrap up these takeaways.
For our first topic, Chevy's new Bolt is bringing back the dream of a true budget EV under $30K and made in America.
For our second topic, Sony and AMD are future-proofing gaming with next-gen graphics tech that's smarter, faster, and cooler.
For our third topic, the Rubik's Cube went digital. It's part toy, part game console, and all kinds of fun.
For our fourth topic, Texas is changing how app stores handle kids' account, and Apple's walking the line between safety and privacy.
And for our fifth and final topic, Tesla's full self-driving feature is facing fresh scrutiny as regulators question its readiness for the world. And that's a wrap for another Flat Tech Daily, the podcast that makes your morning smarter or afternoon, depending on when we post this, in 10 minutes or less.
Hit follow and drop us a 5-star review because that's the only review we'll accept.
We'll be back here soon. Until next time,
Peace.